What's up everyone, it's TrainerDell. In this video for you, I have my thoughts on pure decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Question that I've seen so many times is like, what makes this deck pure, or is it this truly a pure build? And this goes back to like college times where I was playing someone and he's like, what deck are you playing? I'm like, oh, Heroes. And then we're playing and I play Thunder King Ryo on him and he's like, yo man, this is not a hero deck. And I'm like, well, I didn't say it was a pure hero. Like, and technically Jaden does play Thunder King in the manga. So, you know, there's like a little debate on like what a deck is called. But like, to me, I didn't even think about it back then, because like, let's say if I go in and we're playing GOAT format years earlier, and I'm like, oh, I'm playing a fire deck, and you guys see like, yeah, this is mainly fire, like there's support. But then you see Book of Moon, Creature Swap, and Terraforming, you're smashing, and you're like, whoa, hey man, like no one's gonna tell you like, hey man, those aren't fire cards. Like you see Molten Strike, you're like, okay, well that helps fire, but Magic Cylinder, I guess it's burn, but it's not really fire. Like that to me would never happen. I don't know if that conversation has happened. And to me, pure is the state of like when the deck's like main strategy, like the meat and potatoes in the main deck at least, is that archetype or that thing you're trying to say. So like Dark Magicians, right? Like to me, this is a pure Dark Magician deck. It has, they said this is more pure, I think, like than the other decks I'm going to show you. Even though I'm playing Breaker, you might think, hey, that's not a Dark Magician card, even though it's a spellcaster. But you know, Yugi did play it. And same thing goes for like Pre-Prep or Secret Village, Monster Reborn, or even like if I go down and show off Mirror Force. Like, I don't know. There could still be people out there whose opinion could say that's not a pure deck. Because we could take out the 9 so cards that don't have Dark Magician in the name, and we could definitely supplement it in there. But then there's like a fine line where I feel like there's a pure deck and there's still like unplayable, right? And we don't want to go into that level of things. We don't want to go to that side where deck is unplayable. So even though I don't run hand traps in this, I consider this to be fairly, like, it's harder to say that's not a pure deck, right? But even in this fire deck, this GOAT format fire deck, like we had staples, right? And to me, this is what the hand traps or certain cards are in today's meta game, right? Because these helped gain advantage, while hand traps help kind of stop your opponent's advantages so we can still play an even level. So yeah, we can be like, hey, instead of these 3, it's like, here's your Ash Blossoms, here's your Effect Veiler, here's your Infinite Impermanence, and here's whatever else your deck might need. D-Shifter, Ghost Ogre, Drolling Mockbird, whatever, you know? To me, it would still, these still make this quote-unquote a pure fire deck, right? Even though it has other cards that don't really supplement the fire strategy. My Conduct, I'm just gonna show off Conduct, the Phoenix and Nexus deck. Like to me, this is, again, maybe a little less pure than Dark Magician, but I still consider this in that realm of like pure decks, even though we got Manju evenly matched, even though it shows like the 6 Samurai and Pre-Prep, even though it's like what, Fabled Raven or something like that. Dark Ruler No More, I still feel like it's fine, even though it shows like these cards that aren't in archetype. Diviner, like I said, or in Lightning Storm, I guess, you know, more or less, I think this is still in that scope of things. And that's probably why I like White Shorts to talk about things. When you see an SAO deck and they clock an Asuna, you know you're going up against SAO, unless you're playing like normal old standard, which I don't think anyone plays. Again, you might not know their combos, you might not know their top end, but you kind of get a general idea. And that's something I do like when you're playing pure decks. Like for the most part, people know what's going on. Again, you can play however you want. I don't want people to think like I'm bashing on people who mix and match. Like, nah, man, like variety's a slice of life. And if you want to add things to your deck, tech cards or whatever, hey man, power to you. But I just feel like I said, with White Shorts, and I would say like this is a lot like this deck, where it has the main strategy and tries to do what it's trying to do. To me, the Dark Magician deck is a lot like, I guess I'll put it over here, is a lot like playing a waifu deck in white shorts, because it scratches that certain itch where we're playing like one general strategy, or one specific strategy, I guess I would rather say, and we're playing one specific character. And again, there are other waifu decks that don't have the meat and potatoes of those staples. They might not have a level 1 combo, a finisher at level 3. They may not have brainstorm or advantage stuff. But yeah, you still play it because you enjoy it, right? I'm playing, even though Ruka thankfully has a lot of that stuff, and all of it mainly, she's missing tools to be competitive, more competitive like this. And that's just something like, pure doesn't also have to mean non-competitive. So I think my Evil Eye deck is kind of competitive. I think it hits like the rogue territory, definitely more so, along with this, while like this is not even in rogue. Like, there's levels to it. It's just how it is. And I feel like no matter how much you power up the Dark Magicians, there's a certain ceiling to it. Like, we can put hand traps and everything in here, or even throw in like, you know, like the structure deck. I don't know if anyone would ever mix it with this, if anyone ever tried. But then to me, it just doesn't feel like a Dark Magician deck. It doesn't scratch that itch for me. If I would play with the Albaz Strike structure deck, I would just play Branded and stuff, and just do that main strategy without having to do this. Now, I still think it's really cool that there are people doing that, like mix and matching and trying to bring Dark Magician to the forefront, or their pet strategies to the forefront. It just, to me, doesn't scratch that itch for me, and everyone's different, and that's okay. And I would say, like, into the extra deck, I don't consider the extra deck as a part of the main deck. So in my head, how I see things, again, I'm a crazy person talking on the internet. I think it's okay if you want to just say like, hey, I'm only going to run these 6 cards. Hey man, power to you. If you're like, this is all I'm going to run in my extra deck, these are Evil Eye cards as fireworks go off. You're like, yeah, cool. And power to you. Now, I don't mind having what some consider like a toolbox, having stuff that supplement the strategy. Like these guys, these are obviously from a different archetype, but because our deck can go into it, it just really helps out the main strategy of what we're trying to do here. They have plays and they have things that have great synergy. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that when your extra deck helps supplement it. But let's say, oh, let me show off. Let me put this back. All this, but we still have Melodious, man. Melodious is just like so much stronger as a pure build. And that's just the thing. Not all decks are created equal. Not all strategies are created equal. I would love it if Konami added support for this to bring it to the forefront. But right now, it is where it is. And that's okay. I can still have fun playing this deck. At least with my friends. And same thing with this. I can play these with my friends, have fun. But when I go to locals and stuff, I'm obviously going to bring these and try them out and play them. I brought that to the WCQ and it was really fun. Had a really great time. Was very torn on like if I should play this or another pet deck, and hearing someone say that they brought their pet deck and didn't care that they were losing, they're having a great time. It's just fun. It's just really cool to hear that stuff. But yeah, as I move this out of the way, something I want to say is like when you mix the main deck, at least to me, like we can obviously play a strategy where we play these 2 decks together and take cards, because the core of this and the combo to this, they're smaller packages that we can create like a negate board or a disruption board, and if it gets answered or destroyed, we then transition to this strategy. I think there's like a deck that's like Labyrinth, because it knows it's going to go first, and if then it's told to go second, they side deck into a whole Tempai strategy. That's crazy. Decks like that always trip me out, and I used to do that with my Hero Beat deck. It was Hero Beat to get all the advantages, and then in the side deck was all the skill drain, Beast King, Barbaros, just removal cards. Just, it was like a pseudo remove from play deck. Banisher of Light, was it? I don't know, Banisher of Radiance, something like that. And I would never consider those pure. And it just didn't scratch the itch that these decks scratch for me now. Especially, like I said, going on full waifu. So yeah, that's just it. Those are just my thoughts on pure. Pure doesn't have to mean unplayable. Like there's just to me, it's okay to have all the staples and how you consider those staples to be. Wherever the line is, again, it's up to you. These are just my thoughts. That's how I consider a pure deck to be. I'll say at the end of the again. And oh, by the way, if you want one of these cards, click that link down below. I don't know if I said that already. Maybe I did. I'm just rambling at this point. But for the last time, as I say, as I gather my thoughts, to me, a pure strategy, at least in Yu-Gi-Oh, is the main deck having the main deck stuff, working towards that strategy, and being supplemented by quote unquote staples, hand trap, speller trap cards. And then your extra deck, which could have a plethora of little things to help as a toolbox, to help supplement and synergize with your main strategy of the deck. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you can keep up with my rambling. I can keep on going and stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.